What's up, jabroni? Steven here, and welcome to WWE SmackDown Live Review, Reaction, Results. Pretty much the show where I talk to you guys about what's happening in the wild world of wrestling. We're going to be talking about SmackDown today. SmackDown wasn't the greatest show. I think it, for the most part, was a little bit better than yesterday's Raw. Except for that ending. That ending for Raw made it Raw just fucking phenomenal yesterday. But besides that, maybe 40-minute ending, I think Raw was pretty mediocre. And I think SmackDown had a few more fun moments. But for the most part, nothing really spectacular happened. Story-wise going forward. A lot of the small things are things that I'm going to be saying were the best parts. So the show starts off the way that SmackDown has been starting off lately, or since it's been back. It's with a nice cold open, which is pretty much we get a behind-the-scenes segment. We see flashbacks to what happened on a Talking Smack between Daniel Bryan and The Miz. They show that whole 30-minute clip, just in case people didn't go on YouTube and see that video. So what ended up happening is, after they show that little clip, it showed that Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan were looking at that clip. And Shane McMahon goes to Daniel and he says that The Miz is right and all this other stuff. And then Shane tells Daniel that he needs to stop going after talent or getting in the talent's face. I always figured that was the authorities or the boss's thing to do, is to get in the talent's face. But hey, Shane is not running that kind of ship. Then Daniel says, I find it funny that you are the one saying that when you have problems with Brock Lesnar. So they are addressing both situations. Daniel Bryan is not coming back. He can't wrestle. He's not coming back. So that whole story is, I was curious where they were going to go with it. And once the show opened, once the cold open was over, we find out that, I'm guessing that that's the new set, because the set, we've had this set for about maybe 2 to 3 weeks already. So it's official. I think that this is the SmackDown set. Thumbs up for that. Great looking set. It looks like a pay-per-view set. I think it is the SummerSlam set, but it looks really good. Then out comes The Miz, looking all extra serious, like walking angry, looking serious. He gives a pretty good promo. Like a really good promo to me. He's talking truth. He's speaking out facts. He's talking about how he's the INC champion and that this show has degraded the championship and that he's held it for so long, but yet he's in the background on SmackDown, not even getting any time to shine. And he's going into this whole thing about not being booed and all this other thing. And the crowd, I think for the most part, the crowd was pretty into it. They seemed like they were into it. After that, we get Dolph Ziggler coming out, which the first note I wrote here was, whoa, like Dolph Ziggler has fallen from the championship to the INC super fast, like insanely fast. I am shocked. So shocked that's what happened. He's already here. It's like, oh, well, yeah, you fought your match. You lost. You lost to AJ. Now you're back at the bottom. Then what do we got here? Dolph starts to call out The Miz, saying that, yeah, you are soft. That is how you fight. He's telling him, like, prove these people wrong. Prove that you can fight. Prove all these, like, amazing things. And while this is all happening, The Miz is kind of getting riled up, and he's thinking about it, and Dolph is saying, if you want to prove these people wrong, fight me right here. Fight me right here. Tell me that you're not soft, that you can fight, aren't afraid to get hit in the face. And Dolph's kind of like egging him on. And what ends up happening is that the Miz starts to take off his jacket, and he's like gonna get into it, and then the Miz walks away. And then as he's walking away, Dolph's like calling him a coward, and he called him a coward and a couple other things. I forgot what else he called him. But then he called him a coward and scared and afraid to get hit and all this other stuff. And the crowd starts chanting coward. So I'm guessing that the crowd from now on will start chanting coward towards The Miz, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because that, the crowd could really derail a show. But the crowd starts to chant that for The Miz. And what ends up happening after that is that's how it ends. The Miz leaves. When he gets called a coward, he starts to run down, and Maurice stops him, and that's how that situation goes. For those of you guys that are joining, like I said, I'll answer some questions after everything, so you guys can keep commenting, and I'll go through the comments after we get through the SmackDown, the show overall. So after that we get the Hype Bros versus the Vaudevillains, and I was almost positive the Vaudevillains were gonna win, just because to me it made the most logical sense. Right now we have two face teams already in the next round with the Usos and American Alpha. I was like, all right, we probably get another villain team, at least one villain team in there, and then Heath and Rhyno would make it past the first round. And what ended up happening was the Hype Bros destroyed the Vaudevillains in, I want to say, 5 minutes. And I wrote here is, holy shit, how weak are they going to keep making the Vaudevillains? Like, how weak are they going to make these guys? These guys are getting destroyed by everybody. They're making them look super weak. They're not doing anything with them. I get that we're punishing Gotch, whatever, Simon Gotch or whatever, and I get it. But damn, you're making your division look weak. Your division looks so weak that they had to bring back the Headbangers. The fucking Headbangers, they weren't even relevant in the fucking Attitude Era. I'm telling you, look, I was a huge Attitude Era guy, like most people were, and I'm telling you, I barely remember the Headbangers. I know who they are, and I remember them, but like, they weren't relevant. I think they held the titles maybe once. They were always like, they always felt like nothing. They always felt weak. So the Vaudevillains end up losing to the Hype Bros. Very quick, very easy. The Hype Bros get a little interview with Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley, and Zack Ryder is giving like a proper. Zack Ryder doesn't feel like he could do the Hype Bro thing. I mean, every time I see him, he's like, he looks so miserable. He doesn't seem like he could do the Hype Bro thing, because Mojo Rawley is so over the top with the Hype Bros. Like, he's so over the top, and this is character. So I always find that funny when they have interviews and stuff in backstage segments. Next we had AJ playing up that he's the face that runs the place, walking through the halls, walking up to Apollo Crews and telling him a bunch of stuff about they're talking, and then Apollo Crews starts to say his name, like, oh, my name is Apollo Crews, and then he spells out his last name, and then AJ says this isn't a spelling contest, and he spells out place. And it was a fun little segment, but I think Steve from Steven Larson and Going in Raw said on Twitter that it's crazy how Apollo Crews was so poorly brought up that what's his story right now is his name. That Daniel Bryan fucked up his name one time by accident, and they ran with that story because they literally have nothing else to do for Apollo right now. Poor Apollo. Like, he's trying, but he's got like this go-lucky attitude that everything is so positive and everything is gonna be so great, and I'm just happy to be here, and it's so amazing. I love it, guys. I love it. And that's the same thing, my problem with American Alpha, but American Alpha's been here less time, so it's not wearing on me yet. But Apollo Crews, too happy to be there, too go, like, just, oh man, oh shucks, man, I love it. It's amazing. Like, it's getting to me, guys. So what sparked after that was AJ Styles versus Apollo Crews, because Apollo didn't like that AJ kept making fun of his name. So when AJ's out there doing the whole, he's the face that runs the place, doing this whole thing, out comes Apollo Crews, and he challenges AJ to a match, and it's a good match because Apollo is a great wrestler, or a good wrestler, and AJ is a great wrestler. Apollo's really athletic. Apollo looks like this fucking force. He's amazing. He can do this thing. But then you look at AJ, and AJ's fucking just amazing as well, but AJ has built his mic skills so fucking great since he's been over here on and I don't know if this is like what he did in New Japan or over here in WWE, because I didn't really watch him in TNA that often. Like, I didn't really care. He just didn't seem that comfortable in TNA whenever I watched him on the mic. But here he's milking it. He's loving it. We'll talk about how I feel later in the night about what they're turning him into, but I'm loving it. I like his whole confidence. He's the man that runs the place. I love that. Let's see what else I wrote here in my notes. Apollo Crews. Okay. Then we had a Heath Slater, about a 5-minute segment where he's living in a trailer park with his wife and his kids, and Rhyno's just there. And this whole segment, Heath and his wife are talking, and they're making them look like, I don't like using this word, but like very trailer trashy, where he's just like living in the trailers, and he's just kind of, I don't know, it's like, it's over the top. And Rhyno's just there. I thought it was funny. I enjoyed the segment. I thought it was funny. They played it up. The way it ends with the whole, what are the kids stealing the car? I thought that was funny. I'm a sucker right now for Heath Slater. I'm loving his little thing. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I know some people aren't, but I'm loving it. There was even some signs in the crowd that said Heath's kids, just because he's always like fluctuating in the numbers. So I'm eating it up and I'm loving it. What else we got here? We had a Bray Wyatt segment. It's what Bray Wyatt's been doing. What he always does. He's been doing it since he's been here. He's spewing his whole thing. But in all honesty, the crowd just, I think, doesn't really care anymore because he's lost so many battles where he spews his stuff. He talks about being a god and immortal and all this other stuff, and then he loses the rivalry. So, you know what I mean? Like, after a while, you know what I mean? Like, I love him and I love hearing him talk, but now when you hear him talk, it's like, you know, everything he's saying means nothing. He's going to have a great fight with Randy Orton, have a great little rivalry. Randy's going to go over, Randy's going to win, and then that'll be that. It'll be over. Like, you're better off doing, if it would have been like The Miz versus Bray Wyatt, you know what I mean? That would have been something fucking amazing. Let The Miz go after, or let Bray Wyatt go after The Miz. That's a fight that the crowd would believe Bray Wyatt can win, you know? But going against Randy Orton, after you try to make Randy Orton seem like this really strong force against Brock Lesnar, everybody knows Bray's going to lose, and it sucks. It, like, sucks so hard. Bray's going to lose, and it's just upsetting. Like, I wish that Bray would have been something. I wish WWE would have taken that, like, him and built him. Because he built himself into this amazing character, and when he keeps losing, it means nothing. And they dropped the ball with Bray. Bray will go down, if they don't change with him, as one of the most wasted opportunities that the WWE like had. Like, they wasted him. The best opportunity that they did nothing with. And let me go down here. So here, yeah. So I'm just, it sucks. Like, really, I love Bray. I was even suggesting maybe bring Bo Dallas over. They're not doing anything with Bo Dallas on Raw. Bring Bo Dallas, pair him with Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt. They're brothers. Let them figure that out. Make them a tag team. Let them be like Bray and fucking Bo Dallas going after American Alpha and the tag team champs. Are you fucking kidding me? Tell me people wouldn't be excited to see that. I would fucking love that. Because right now, Bray is just doing nothing. And I get it. Bray is above the tag team belts. He is above even the IC belt. But come on. Like, we got to give him something. Has Bray ever held any fucking belt? I'm trying, like, has he held any belt? I know that Harper and Rowan had the tag team belts, but has Bray ever done anything with a belt? He loses all the rivalries. He doesn't do anything with the belts. I mean, I don't know. All right, the next thing that I wrote here was SmackDown women felt like an afterthought. And I put that because the SmackDown women feel like a complete afterthought, and I feel fucking so bad for Becky Lynch, like so bad. They're not doing anything with the women really. They talked about there's going to be some 6-woman tag team match, and they just keep doing these tag team matches and these tag team matches and these tag team matches, and then they'll do like these things where Alexa Bliss versus Becky, and I'm just like watching and I'm like, why do the women feel like such an afterthought for SmackDown? Oh, wanna know why? Because they should have been on fucking Raw. Raw should have gotten all of the women and the tag teams, and you should have brought the cruiserweights to fucking SmackDown. Had SmackDown have the cruiserweight title, the Intercontinental title, a tag team title, and the big title, like the WWE title. Yes, then put all the women on Raw. Instead, you have this, and it feels like such an afterthought and so boring. And I'm seeing Becky, and I fucking love Becky. People love her, and they're doing nothing with her, and it fucking sucks. Like, so hard. So it sucks. Like, it's hardcore sucky that the women just feel like an afterthought. Next we had the Headbangers versus Heath and Rhyno. So I knew that this was gonna happen, but a part of me was still very worried. I was like, all right, man, let's I know it's gonna happen, but I'm worried. So Headbangers come out, people are like, hey, ooh, okay, we know nobody really knows you guys, but you guys are here, cool. And then Heath and Rhyno come out. Oh, sorry about that. And then it's a decent match. They don't really do anything. At one point, Rhyno bleeds because one of the Headbangers, Mosh, Thrasher, I don't know. One of the Headbangers accidentally elbows Rhyno in the face. So there's no pictures here. I wish there was. And Rhyno starts to bleed. So Heath is putting up a decent fight, but after a while he gets like starts to get beat up, like after a couple, like 1 or 2 minutes, and the Rhyno starts to bleed. He falls into the ring, and then when they pin Heath, Rhyno comes in. He breaks it up. He attacks one of the 2 guys. Then he attacks the other guy, and then he drags Heath Slater to the corner as he's bleeding, and he's looking like he's like the straight man. He's looking right into the crowd. He's like, "Tag me in," and it's like the funniest shit ever. And then Rhyno comes in, gets the gore, gets the victory. Game over. It was awesome. I loved it. I fucking loved it. Heath Slater, the way it's looking like it's gonna be Heath Slater and Rhyno versus American Alpha, and American Alpha is gonna win. And WWE, we're telling you, we as WWE fans, we are telling you. Steven Larson has said this. Almost everybody has said this, and I 100% agree. The crowd is going to turn on American Alpha if fucking Heath Slater loses in the finals. The crowd will fucking turn. I am telling you, WWE, the crowd will turn. So definitely, you're gonna have to figure that out. But don't eliminate him next round, because then the Hype Bros will get booed. Whoever Heath Slater loses to is gonna get booed. All right, that brings us to the main event of the evening. Like I said, it was a very average show, decent show, not a lot happening. Before this, we had a segment right here. If you guys can see in the little corner here, Kane showed up. Kane is here. There was this guy in the ring. For a moment I thought it was somebody from the crowd. I was like, oh shit, the crowd. There's the crowd grabbed the mic, and all of a sudden he's like, I am the milkman, and I was promised a chance to fight here. He does this whole thing, and then out of nowhere, or not out of nowhere, but Kane comes out. And the funniest part about this was that the guy got fully naked into his underwear. He's like, I'm gonna fight. And then when he sees Kane come down, he's like, he forgets about everything. He starts to put his clothes back on. Kane comes in. Kane destroys the guy, the milkman, and that was it. So Kane's here. So it's adding some decent thing in the middle now. More guys in the middle, which is awesome because John Cena's out for a while. So that's awesome. For me, what I think they should do with Kane, and I know it's gonna be sucky, guys, but listen to me. Pair Kane with Baron Corbin just to get Baron Corbin over. Make Baron Corbin feel like more of a threat. Because guess what? That fucking whole Kalisto thing wasn't anywhere to be seen. Like, what the fuck happened? For 2 or 3 weeks, Baron Corbin is just beating up Kalisto. And then this week, no Kalisto? Yeah, you gotta put Kane with somebody that needs to get over. Maybe you put Kane with Apollo. Like, you gotta put Kane with somebody that Kane could take a loss and people will be like, well, he beat Kane. You know what I mean? Like, give Kane something and it'll make sense. Alright, so the main event was Baron Corbin versus Dean. And all I have here is question marks, because before the match even started, I was thinking to myself, these 2 guys aren't the best in-ring fighters. Like, I love Dean, but Dean is sloppy as fuck. Dean is like the closest thing in this era that we have to Mick Foley. And then Baron Corbin always fights like he doesn't give a fuck. So as this match was going, I'm like, this match is fine. AJ's on commentary. It's a fine match. I didn't like the ending though. So Baron Corbin and Dean go for a while. AJ somehow gets involved because he wants Baron to fully beat up on Dean, and he gets involved. And when he gets involved, Dean pushes Baron into AJ, and that whole thing happens. AJ somehow gets involved somehow, and he kind of cost. He didn't cost because Dean ended up winning, but he was getting involved, and it was making Baron have kind of a chance. At one point, AJ hit Baron with a kick, and it looked like he landed wrong, and he was hobbling on his ankle, and I was like, oh shit, no, if AJ goes down, we have a fucking problem on SmackDown. Like, straight up problem. But the match was fine. I think it was a weakish ending, because the way that it ends is when AJ hit Baron, Baron gets the victory through disqualification. He hit Baron, so wouldn't Baron be the one that gets the victory and Dean get disqualified? Because here it says Dean Ambrose defeats Baron Corbin via disqualification, but I thought that AJ hit Dean or Baron, I don't know, whatever. And then what ended up happening is it turned into a comedy act. AJ is turning into a comedy act. He goes for his phenomenal forearm. Dean hits the rope, and then he gets the whole little into the nut situation there, and it turned into a comedy act, and it actually bothered me because AJ just kind of stood on the rope, holding his nuts, and yeah, it's a comedy act, and this is the same thing I have with the club right now. Like, the club is a comedy act. Like, Baron Corbin, AJ Styles and the club have been turned into comedy acts. Last on Raw, they paired fucking Dana Brooks and that whole situation. I don't know. I like that AJ is confident he's the man that runs the place, or the face that runs the place, but I don't want to see him as a full-on comedy act, because we already have a comedy act in Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose is that, like, comedy, fun, crazy, like, champion. We can't have AJ be a fucking comedy act as well. That bothered me. And it could be that because of the fact that that Raw's ending was so phenomenal and so great that SmackDown's just felt lackluster. So those are just my thoughts. I enjoyed the show overall. I thought it had a lot of fun moments, and it's only 2 hours instead of the 3 for Raw. So it flowed better for me, and I enjoyed it more. But the ending for Raw, to me, that match was fucking great. Like, that was a great match, and really, we didn't have a great match on SmackDown. So that's how I felt. All right, let's go through the chat, because that brings us to the end of the show. All right, let's go all the way to the beginning here. See what we got here. Let's see what we got. We got anything in the chat. Earlier I was mentioning about the Titantron, or in the set. Here it says the Titantron is not from the SummerSlam set, but the stage, ring post, and some of the minor Trons are. All right, so it's kind of like a half SummerSlam set, I guess. The Titantron is what they have been using on Raw. Okay. Here Rachel gives her, I think that's her name. You give it a 6 out of 10. I'd give it about a 6 out of 10 as well, just because it had fun segments, and it felt like there was a lot of funny things in it, but there wasn't a lot of memorable stuff. Good finish. The rest of the show was average. See, all right. Also, the segment could have been great, but Miz needed to beat him down. Ooh, if the Miz would have just, like, lost his shit and just went on, like, a rampage and just beat the shit out of Dolph Ziggler, that would have been cool. And I love Dolph. Dolph's one of my favorite wrestlers, but that would have been cool. All right, so you believe here that the Usos are probably going to turn. All right, maybe that's what... It makes sense, because American Alpha is going against them next week, I believe. Next week. So it makes sense. The American Alpha beats them. Usos turn on them. Could be something up interesting. What if the Usos get involved in the main event at Backlash, and that's how Heath Slater and Rhyno win? That'd be fun. Heath Slater deserves everything. He deserves to be tag team champion. I think he's earned it right now. Yeah, it's not meaningless because they continue to bury him. Yep, this is when we were talking about Bray Wyatt. I agree. Bray Wyatt was just fucking there. They have buried him completely. Let's see what other questions we got. This is just slogans from the thing. I will turn on them. I think this is from when I said that if Heath Slater loses, people will turn. Yeah, the Kane segment was pretty bad. It was probably the worst segment of the night. I think the worst segments of the night were probably the Kane situation and also the women's match. I think those were the worst segments of the night. Can't, because Baron's whole thing is he is the lone wolf. Also, this match tonight helps with Corbin over a bit. It does help Corbin a little bit. I'm going to agree with that. It helps him because he stood in there with Dean. But he should fight Kane. Like, who's... Like, Baron needs to... Like, what... I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Because who's Kane going to fight? Who do you guys think Kane is going to fight? Who does Kane fight? Honestly. Because Baron has to fight Kalisto at Backlash. That has to be a match. It has to be a match. Like, I don't know what else who else he fights against. It has to be that. And then Kane... Who's on... Man, SmackDown's roster is so limited right now. Who can Kane go against? I don't even know. Maybe Kane goes against Kurt Hawkins whenever he shows up. I think Kurt Hawkins is going to be a while because I think he has a couple indie shows that I was seeing on his schedule. I follow him on Twitter, so... I think this is when I was saying that Dean isn't a great wrestler. Dean isn't a great wrestler, guys. Dean's like Stone Cold. No. Dean's like Stone Cold towards the end of Stone Cold's career. Dean doesn't do much. Dean's special is like a DDT. Dean's just a crazy fucking Cactus Jack like guy. That's cool. I like that. I'm cool with Dean. I love Dean. But I'm just saying he's not like a great wrestler. He's not like Dolph Ziggler or AJ. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, they got it wrong. I'm gonna assume that's the ending. I'm gonna assume. Dana Brooke pairing was a problem. Yes, Dana Brooke with fucking the club was a problem. That whole Too Sweet thing. I was like, Dana, what are you doing? Dana fucked up so many. Like, she botches so much shit. Like, I can't help but feel that Dana was just never meant to like be this much. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Dana was supposed to be. Emma was supposed to be in Dana's spot. I feel like that's what they were trying to do. Like, they were doing the 4 horsewomen, and Dana was gonna be one of them. Maybe Nia Jax would have been the other one, but right now it's so bad. All right, but the club doctor thing is funny. It is funny, but it's a joke. It's just a joke. Like these guys used to be badasses. Like over in Japan, I saw some of the footage. These guys were motherfucking badasses. What are they now? They're just a joke. And it'd be different if they were funny and they were winning, but they're just funny. And they're doing heelish things, but they're losing, and it's hard to take them serious. I love Dolph as well, but Miz needed it. Yeah, Miz needs something. But like Dolph versus Miz is going to be interesting because Dolph has lost his last 2 rivalries right now. The one with that one small one with AJ, the one with Dean. What was Dolph? Dolph wasn't doing anything before. No wait, Dolph had lost. Dolph even lost the Corbin one. So I don't know. What do you do with Dolph? Corbin can fight Kane, just not tag team with him. Oh yeah, I'm not sorry if I made it sound like tag team. No, there is no fucking way in hell I want Baron Corbin with Kane. That's fucking too much boring. They got it wrong. It wasn't Dean when. Oh, this thing right here. Yeah, they did get this wrong. The fucking title. Can't Dolph win again? The never-ending story. Ooh, what if they did that? Like Dolph keeps losing, and maybe Dolph needs to like find a way to get a victory. That'd be interesting. I don't know. There's a couple things you can do with it. I'd be interested to see what they do with it. But like I said, I enjoyed SmackDown. I enjoyed SmackDown more than Raw for the first 2 hours. I think these whole 2 hours were better than anything Raw put on for me in its first 2 hours. I think the only real fun thing from Raw that I enjoyed a lot was the opening segment, and that was just mic work because you had 2 great mic guys in Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. But yeah, I really much enjoyed it. But all right, so that's my thoughts on SmackDown. Let me know if you guys have any other questions before we get out of here. I'm gonna say something. I've changed and I'm doing these things live now. Because I want to interact, I want to have a conversation. It's easier for me to do this way. But I've also been thinking, what if I do like because if you guys haven't noticed, like I like doing top 10s on my channel. Like I like doing top 10s, like I just do. What if I did like a top 10 thing where I do like top 10 takeaways from Raw and SmackDown? You know what I mean? Like do one for Raw, do one for SmackDown. Like top 10 takeaways or top 10 things we learned. You know what I mean? Like take the top 10 things that mattered from both shows and make them into videos, which are more like quick things, like 3 to 4 minute ones. You know what I mean? I've been thinking about that because I love talking like this, but I think that some people aren't going to sit through and hear this whole conversation and stuff and have, want to be hearing me spew all this stuff, but I still want to give something back. So I've been thinking about doing a top 10 way for Raw and SmackDown. Just haven't really figured out what I'm going to do with it yet. All right, what else we got here in the chat? Firewolf Jordan Ramsey, I am your new subscriber. Thanks, man. That's awesome. Kevin Owens was just a player of absolute brilliance. Yes, Kevin Owens winning is what everybody wanted, and he deserved it. What else we got here? Yep, so that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So if you guys don't know, like something I started last week, I have on Thursdays or Fridays, I do another live one of these, but it's only on the news. Everything that's newsworthy or videos that people want me to watch and check out, and it's literally just called WWE Reacts or Wrestling Reacts, and it's just me talking about the news, my reaction to what I'm reading, things like that. I use like all the different sources. So be on the lookout Thursday night or Friday for that. It'll be on the channel. Just same situation here, but just looking through the news and talking like with you guys about it. And I might do a test run tomorrow on my SmackDown idea. So definitely be on the lookout for that, where it's just 10 things we learned. 10 things that I took away from it in a very 3 to 5 minute format. Quick and easy. People can come in, check it out, watch it. Fun little segment. And then these will still be up. I'll still do these because I love talking here, just looking through stuff, reacting with you guys. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for a couple things. Like I haven't done anything besides wrestling on here for about 3 weeks, but understand if you guys are new, this is not a wrestling channel. I just love wrestling, and this is a geek channel. I geek out about a lot of things: movies, video games, TV shows, wrestling, a bunch of stuff. So there is more stuff coming. I do have several top 10s. I would love to give you guys content like 2 to 3 videos a day. I would love to. But my problem is that I want to do quality and stuff like that, so I don't know. But since I want to do quality, it like takes a long time to do certain things. These live ones are like the best way because I can talk with you guys, interact with you guys, and also get the video up really quick. So if you guys enjoy this, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share the video, let people know about me. I'm relatively new to the wrestling YouTube space. I cover the main events, like I cover the big ones, but this is over the last maybe 2-3 months I've been covering things a lot. Something we learned: Kane is irrelevant. Bray will never win a feud. Never let wrestlers back in the ring after 16 years. Oh man. See what I'm saying? That's funny. I could use that stuff in the video. That's funny. Like, it's awesome. Maybe I'll turn it into a comedy thing. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it into a comedy thing. If I use it into a comedy thing, I might use some of these because these are funny. Yeah, I don't know. But hopefully you guys like this video. Comment, like, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys either Thursday or Friday. Be on the lookout for that. It's a strictly a news show, going through the news. But I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.